When you smile, I smile. That's the deal. I will not walk past you and not look you in the eyes and not acknowledge you. Instead, we will pass each other and say hello. Not with our words, for they are not the same, but with our faces. I meet you and I see there is good in your eyes. There's passion in your heart, and there's a friendly hello in your smile. And for the first time, we can relate and appreciate each other. That's all it takes. That's where it starts. Because I know that you will smile, and I will smile, and all the rest is easy.
Good evening, welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kilala. Tonight's topic is the problems of Philippine sports. And we've said adieu, auf Wiedersehen to EJ Lorbes, but still with us is Senator Nikki Cosseteng to talk about more of the problems of Philippine sports. Now, welcome back, Senator, to our second segment.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Cosseteng, in my opening spiel, I said that the POC elections, the election for officers, is coming up very soon, about 2 weeks' time. And this is a very important event as it will really impact national sports associations and Philippine sports. And my question to you is, why is it that the POC officers seem to be so powerful, so influential? I mean, given that, as you said, in the Arafura Games, Chairman Garcia of the Philippine Sports Commission was with you already, tried to call up Mark Joseph many times. Mark Joseph basically thumbed his nose at the undersecretary, who is really in charge of, mandated, charged by the government, by the president of the country, to develop our sports program. I mean, how come these guys are so omnipotent?
Well, there are many, many reasons why. But let's just put it simply, no? Mark Joseph has gotten away with so much in terms of non-accountability and responsibility, discrimination, and humiliation for kids that would like only to swim.
Yes.
And he has never been sanctioned. And as Deputy Secretary General of the POC, he's practically running the daily the show of the POC. And so he's not just doing this to swimming. But athletes just want to compete. They don't want to fight. They don't want to shoot anyone. They don't want to box anyone, They're in boxing and shooting, but they just don't want to fight. They just want to swim, or they just want to cycle, or they just want to play billiards.
Yeah.
They just want to be good in their sport.
Yes.
So, as the saying goes, there are no masters where there are no slaves. I don't mean to say that the athletes are slaves. I'm only saying that when you keep quiet and you just accept what's happening to you, or ayoko namang gulo, I will just retire, I'll just quit, hindi na kaya ng parents ko, so hindi na ako magsuswim or hindi na ako lalaro, di ba? So, people just want to fade away and they feel that they're up against very powerful people, no?
Are there powerful people at the POC?
Well, as far as the sporting community is concerned, yes. Because if they don't like your father, like in the case of the Cordero sisters, remember the Cordero sisters, the Cordero, Delia Angela Cordero, 200-meter IM, women, number 1. Women, 100-meter butterfly, also number 1. In the last UAAP championship, she's with the University of the Philippines team that won the championship, in UAAP, no?
Yes, ma'am.
But she was not sent to Singapore, to the FINA Arena swimming competition.
FINA being the International Swimming Association.
Yes. Diba? So, because, in the first place, they don't like her dad. Her dad is a coach. But for her, for me, choosing athletes for national or international competitions should not have anything to do with who you're related with.
Let the best man or woman,
Let the best
boy,
time
girl
prevail.
Win.
Yes.
So, absolutely.
They
in an open tryout.
Yes, they sent two girls to the FINA competition in Singapore.
Okay.
Now, what happened in that competition? We ended up, I have the statistics over here. We ended up by 25 out of 25.
Kulela.
No, 25 out of 36.
Okay.
For Hasmin Veronica Ong, yes.
1/4 again.
Yes. In the
which event
women's 100 freestyle. Okay. And then in the women's 50-meter freestyle, we ended up number 16 and number 22 out of 35.
Yes,
no?
yes.
what we're trying to say, and in the women's 50-meter butterfly, we ended up last, 8 out of 8, based on this.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Kilala. I mean,
well, there's nothing to be proud about.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Now, what we're saying is, why did you only send 2 women and 1 man? Two female and 1 male swimmer. Why? Why not 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8? Because the idea is to give these athletes a chance to compete. Now, how much does it cost to go to Singapore? If you buy your ticket, even Philippine Airlines or other airlines, Cebu Pacific, I'm sure will be willing to sponsor 5 Philippine national kids to go.
Yes.
The last time we went to Singapore, we paid, I think, 4,000 pesos. So if you send 5, that's only 20,000.
Okay.
You mean the Philippine government has no 20,000 to send 5 or 10 or 20?
But they're not sent because they're not PASA members.
They're not sending, for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not Mark Joseph's spokesperson, but the fact is they sent only 2 female and 1 male, right? And I think there were no tryouts conducted, which means even among PASA members,
it's favoritism.
There's favoritism.
Yes.
Because what about the others who are as good as them? You know, there are other swimmers that were doing well, but of course, the top swimmers in the UP who won the championship for the University of the Philippines in this last UAAP last month were not PASA swimmers. They were all PSL swimmers. If you look at the list, one by one, down the road, it was mostly 99% PSL swimmers.
And PSL isn't even the NSA, the National Sports
No,
Association.
we're not the NSA. We're just an advocacy group, a swimming group.
No funding from the government. It goes to PASA.
We have kids that are 5 years old that are winning gold medals among the 5-year-olds. You know, and in fact, it's really strange. You know, buddy, I like the public to know. I announced earlier that our calendar is drafted at the end of every year. Next month, we will be supplying the general public with our calendar of events. You know what PASA does? Or PSI, whatever you call them.
Mark Joseph's group.
Mark Joseph's group. They will make their competitions the exact same date and time as our competition.
How petty, That's
so
really petty.
look at Ricky Palu, the athletic director of Ateneo. I call him every time. I said, Ricky, why don't you ask the Ateneo team to go and swim in our competition?
He'll say, because we have a PASA or a PASA organized event.
So no, Ricky said, no, I'll send my team.
Okay.
I will tell my coach to send the team to Rizal Memorial.
Okay.
So the next day, the day of the tournament, I mean, that's several months before, no?
Yes.
The day of the tournament, Ricky showed up in Rizal Memorial. Said, oh, how's my team doing? I said, what team?
Didn't show up.
There's no team here. There's no Ateneo team.
What happened to them? I mean, where did they go?
So he said, where did they go? I told my coach to send.
Yes.
I said, your coach organized another tournament in the Celebrity Sports Plaza, Celebrity Sports Club.
Yes.
And made the Ateneo team swim there. I said, Ricky, the winners of our tournament are going to qualify to go to the World University Games, the Universiad 2013.
Which is a big event.
Kazan, Russia.
Yes, it's a big event. Super.
You win the tournament in celebrity sports, so what? So what? You're champions. So what? So he says, I'm going to find out what happened.
So what happened?
Well, his coach will never send Ateneo swimmers to compete, the team, Ateneo team, to compete in our tournaments. Why? Because we're not PASA.
Imagine that.
See?
Imagine
we're not, they don't like us, in other words, number one. Number two, on November 24, by the way, it's an announcement. On November 24, we're going to have the 3rd Senator Nikki Coseteng Swim Cup in the Rizal Memorial swimming pool.
Okay.
Well, I asked Ricky to send his swimmers long time ago. He said, no, that time that they did not send, he said, no, Nikki, no problem. Next time I will really send.
Okay, so what's the
You know what they did?
Yes.
They have another tournament also in another place, also in Metro Manila, so that the Ateneo team cannot go.
This can't be a coincidence. This can't be a
No,
coincidence.
it's every time we have a swimming competition.
Okay.
So it's always like that. So what happens is, at the end of the day, when we look at the competitions of PASA and our competition, sometimes they have 70 swimmers. We have 400. That's what happens. So I'm tired already sometimes of talking about it, but you asked me, so I have to dramatize.
But Senator, okay, my question is, okay, clearly,
Yeah.
okay, you brought up this list, and you said 90% of the swimmers
Yes.
who won here are your swimmers, PSL
Yes.
swimmers, not even PASA swimmers.
The if you look at the top three,
Yes,
no?
yes.
If you look at the top three,
Sure.
it's going to be like that.
And then in the Asian Games, since 82, not a single, except for 2 bronze medals, we haven't won anything since 82 in the
Nothing,
Asian
zero.
Games. Okay, my question is, where is the outrage from the families of the swimmers? Where is
Well,
the
as I
protest?
told you,
I mean, clearly, PASA is an organization that's not functioning, not effective in producing winners, and so how come this is being tolerated? How come this is continuing? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of parents who are irate, who are asking the same question.
Well, you see, swimmers are not 14 years old for 10 years. Swimmers are not 17 years old for 10 years. After the age of 14, 15, 16, they go to college, they have other priorities.
They get real jobs.
They'll just say, oh, forget it. Why am I going to deal with this?
The politics.
Somebody,
The politics.
What for? What for?
Sure.
Like, as I mentioned about the Olympics, right? So, no Filipino, in spite of the 34 million given by PAGCOR to PASA, no Filipino qualified in the Olympic qualifying time. Which means the Philippines can send 2, a male and a female, to the Olympics, no matter what the time is.
Okay.
Right? So, what did Mark Joseph do? He sends Lacuna and Alcalde to the FINA competition in Shanghai in 2011 because that is a prerequisite. If you want to go to the Olympics, you should have been able to compete in that Shanghai competition.
Okay.
So he sent only 2. Now, why not 20? Even if all of them are PASA, assuming all of them are PASA, why did you not send 20 PASA swimmers?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, why only 2?
So that when they come back,
sigurado na sila yung papadala.
yung dalawa lang talaga pinadala.
For sure. Because
Kasi
it was a prerequisite.
Sure.
Sure.
Now, why did you not give a chance to the other PASA swimmers?
Yes, why not?
And then
like
when
have
you
a
come
tryout,
back,
like have an open tryout,
an open tryout,
the 2
right.
best go to Shanghai.
Correct.
Well, there you go.
Now, if those 2, Alcalde and Lacuna, came back from Shanghai, together with 20 others, right? Now, they have a tryout here among those who are qualified, which means among those who came from Shanghai, they have another competition. They at least have a choice to send a choice of 20 swimmers to choose 2 from.
Sure, and then have another heat and find out, right? And narrow it down.
Elimination.
Sure.
Correct.
Sure, at least.
Then everyone, because everyone aspires to go to the Olympics.
Now,
why do they have a franchise?
Yes.
Why do these 2 have a franchise? I have nothing against these 2 kids. I'm saying that the way that they're choosing swimmers will favor 2.
And 2 alone. And
2
that's
alone.
it. Yeah,
and
that's
the
it.
rest of the hundreds are not even going to have a, chance to show how good they
It
are.
doesn't make sense. From a lay person, from someone not involved in
they're trying
sports.
to quote
I mean,
this,
directly. What is the logic? I mean, haven't people asked? Let's say, how come these 2? I mean, we just sent people to the Olympics and we did terribly in the Olympics as expected. I'm sad to say, as expected. I mean,
Well,
where were the questions?
you're already kulalat in the SEA Games, no? So what are you talking about? What
Well,
Olympics are you talking about? SEA Games, wala
It's a
pang
dream. Absolutely.
Japan, Korea, wala pa yan.
Absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
up against the United States and, Canada or whatever other China, other countries,
Now, ma'am,
Japan.
why is the PSC tolerating this, the Philippine Sports Commission? Why do they step in and say, hey, this cannot
Well,
go
that's
on?
part of our advocacy. I have
Right?
to give also
the money
some,
is coming from them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a lot of power if you have money.
I have to give some credit to Richie Garcia. The first time I was on your show,
Yes.
we were even prohibited to set foot at the Rizal Memorial swimming pool. But December 18, last year, we were allowed to hold a swimming competition in Rizal Memorial for the first time. Because Richie Garcia, as chairman, realized that, nga pala, bakit nga hindi kayo pwede mag-swim dito? So he allowed us to swim there.
Yes,
That's
yes.
why even on November 24,
Yes.
we are inviting the swimmers to please join the competition because this is the final,
Yes.
swim competition for choosing the swimmers that will go to the World University Games in Kazan, Russia, next July.
Yeah, the Universiad.
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 It's bigger than the Olympics. They have 181 countries.
Yes, yes.
And, I tell you, all the kids from different universities are all raring and raging to go.
Yes.
And that was where people like Yao Ming
Yes. Yeah.
were discovered.
Yeah.
People like Mark Spitz.
Yes. But Senator, I mean, okay, we've been talking about this for about
Why
almost
is the
50
PSC
minutes.
tolerating? Huh?
I mean, we've discussed a lot of things, and to a layperson, it's an outrage. I mean, does Richie Garcia, Chairman Garcia, know all about this? Because if I were in his position, I would say, I would be kicking some asses. I'm sorry, but I'll say it. I would be kicking some asses.
In the first place, they always invoke government intervention. The minute Richie Garcia tells Mark Joseph, don't do this, don't do that, he say, oh, you're intervening and you're government and we're private.
But the mere fact that the money is coming from people like me, we pay our taxes.
Right. As taxpayers,
we have a stake. We to demand.
Kahit na yung tricycle driver, bus driver, conductor, lahat yan. All of you have an interest here. Bakit? Pera ng taong bayan.
To demand what's
yung
being done.
nilulusaw nila.
Absolutely.
Diba?
Absolutely.
Now, the mechanics of this all is, Mark Joseph is president of his association. Remember, it was Mark Joseph who incorporated PASA in 1986. Yes. So if he does not like you to be a part of it, then you cannot be part of it. Right? Yes. So the intention of Mr. Joseph, I think, I mean, what else could it be? No? He requires every member to pay 400 pesos every year, plus the coaches have to pay, oh God, maybe 10,000 or something. The clubs have to pay another 10 or more thousand. The schools have to pay another 10 or more thousand to his club.
Yes.
So by having the rule that they are not allowed, non-PASA members are not allowed to compete with PASA members. Even non-PASA members are not allowed to be found in the same pool, the same swimming pool as a PASA member. Or else you will face expulsion.
That's crazy.
Or else you will be suspended. Right? We were able to prove that that's all a figment of his imagination. Why? San Beda has been swimming with us. How come they're not expelled?
Well, because they have certain clout.
Right?
San Beda, it's a big school. A lot of alumni.
Talking about San Beda, San Beda in 1 year, I think last year or the year before, won 1,000 medals in swimming. Okay? Why is the San Beda coach or the San Beda swimmers not taken in
facing sanctions?
You know, and I mean representing the country.
Yes.
You know, under PASA.
Yes. Senator,
why are they favoring only a certain closed group?
Yes.
Nakikita nyo na, pumapalpak na, nalulunod na yung swimming.
Senator, are you guys in PSL and the swimming advocates willing to face Mark Joseph if there's a forum where
we have been inviting him more than 100 times.
Because I can try to invite him one of these days to the show, and maybe we'll talk about it. No?
Well, funny, Daniel Rason in the UNTV invited him.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I'm out of the country." On television, I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Joseph, that's a lie." Why? We're supposed to meet after the show. And I know you're here because you told me you're here. So he texted me right away and he said, "Oh, but I have another meeting. Sorry, I cannot meet you. But don't tell Mr. Rason
that you're out of the country."
In other words, you have a leader that seemingly is habitually not telling the truth.
Senator, we have about 30, okay, I hate to cut you off, but we have about 30 seconds left. Would you like to make an appeal to the President or the PSC if they're watching this show?
Well, the PSC, we're always in touch. We're very grateful that Commissioner Iggy Clavecilla, he's the one in charge of swimming now, he was able to successfully recover from a bad fall. He had a fall in Korea. He broke his, I think, his back or something, and then he also had a mild stroke, but now he's back. In fact, I'm seeing him tomorrow.
Okay.
And because Iggy Clavecilla, we will present to him, the papers all over again. We presented this earlier to Mr. Garcia. And I think that the Philippine Sports Commission is now opening up to these realities. No? And I am not going to lose faith. In fact, it's a lot of time for me, effort, energy, and everything else. But I think it's well worth it because I saw now how the swimmers, the parents save money. Sometimes they're 4 or 6 in a room, in a big room, in a hotel, just to be able to attend, participate in the competitions. And you can see that they're really there to help, So my appeal to President Noynoy is that athletes will always bring glory to the country. Please don't let the leadership, the leaders of the NSA, the leaders of the sports associations and the POC, destroy that glimmer of hope in every athlete's eye. I say this really in appeal to the presidency because, wala namang kasalanan yung atleta eh. They're only there to win.
At siya lang talaga makapaayos.
No athlete wants to go out there to lose.
Yes.
So, why can't they change their coach? Linalangaw na nga tayo. Kumbaga, nilalangaw ka na, hindi mo palitan yung coach.
And it really is the, I think the problem as deep as this and it's intense interest. I think only the president.
But you're only talking about swimming. You know, we only have this hour to talk about swimming. Why don't you talk about billiard, cycling, and many other things? Dragon boat, you know.
Only scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Sa swimming lang ako. Yun lang ang alam kong first hand.
Senator, maraming po salamat for coming to the show and more power to you. And of course, more success to Diliman Preparatory School and the Philippine Swim League. Salamat.
Yes, thank you very much. We hope to see you at Diliman Prep School. We have 3 swimming pools. And the summer program is open from 2 years old, all the way to senior citizens.
Excellent.
For learn to swim. Yeah.
Excellent. Salamat po, Senator.
Thank you, buddy.
Very much.
Thank you to all.
And I hope you all guys enjoyed our talk now about Philippine sports and Philippine swimming. Join us again next year in the show where we talk about what matters to you, because you matter the most. See you next week.
Instead, we will pass each other and say hello. Not with our words, for they are not the same, but with our faces. I meet you and I see there is good in your eyes. There's passion in your heart, and there's a friendly hello in your smile. And for the first time, we can relate and appreciate each other. That's all it takes. That's where it starts. Because I know that you will smile, and I will smile, and all the rest is easy. When you smile, I smile. That's the deal. I will not walk past you and not look you in the eyes and not acknowledge.
Well, there are many, many reasons why. But let's just put it simply, no? Mark Joseph has gotten away with so much in terms of non-accountability and responsibility, discrimination, you know, and humiliation for kids that would like only to swim.
Yes.
And he has never been sanctioned. And as Deputy Secretary General of the POC, he's practically running the, you know, daily, the show of the POC. And so he's not...
It's coming up very soon, about 2 weeks' time. And this is a very important event as it will really impact national sports associations and Philippine sports. And my question to you is, why is it that the POC officers seem to be so powerful, so influential? I mean, given that, as you said, in the Arafura Games, Chairman Garcia of the Philippine Sports Commission was with you already, tried to call up Mark Joseph many times. Mark Joseph basically thumbed his nose at the Undersecretary, who is really in charge of, mandated, charged by the government, by the President of the country, to develop our sports program. I mean, how come these guys are so omnipotent? Good evening, welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kilala. Tonight's topic is the problems of Philippine sports. And we've said adieu, auf Wiedersehen to EJ Lorbes, but still with us is Senator Nikki Cosseteng to talk about more of the problems of Philippine sports. Now, welcome back, Senator, to our second segment.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Cosseteng, in my opening spiel, I said that the POC elections, the election for office,